Alright folks, today I want to give you a side-by-side review of these two knives that Gearbest sent me. They are both budget knives, so this one right here currently goes for $946 Canadian dollars or $745 US dollars, and the other one is $1037 Canadian dollars or $817 US dollars. So they're both pretty much $10 knives, more or less, and there's quite some difference between these two, I have to say. So this one right here is the Sanjia K231. Comes in this simple nylon sheath here, which is, you know, cheap. There's not really much to say about it. And this one is the Enlan M023. A very unobtrusive box design here. So just looks kind of simple and professional. And yeah, so they are, as you can see, quite a bit different in design and size. And so let's take a look at the blades. First off, okay, so the Sanjia has a 3CR13 stainless steel blade, and the Enlan has an 8CR13 MOV stainless steel blade. So these are both Chinese budget steels, but arguably this one here is better quality. For one, this has got 0.8% carbon. That's what the 8 in 8CR13 stands for, while this one here has 0.3%, the 3CR. Also, this one, the MOV, indicates that it's also got molybdenum and vanadium, which the other one doesn't. The 8CR13 MOV steel blade is quite a bit harder than the 3CR13, so you can expect better edge retention. And yeah, overall, I mean, it's not a major difference, but I would definitely say this one here is a little better. The handle on the Sanjia, this is an unknown wood, doesn't say. And on the Enlan, there's a G10 handle. This one's got a lockback, and the Enlan's got a liner lock. Now the lockback is stronger than the liner lock. In case of knives in this size, you know, does it really matter that much? Not necessarily, but you know, if anything, you'd have to give it to the lockback. And as far as the weight is concerned, the Sanjia is a little heavier, 120 grams, whereas the Enlan is 87 grams. Now the Sanjia is obviously also larger. So that's the basics, and seems somewhat equal on paper, maybe a little bit in favor of the Enlan. However, when you actually pick them up and handle them, it's quite a major difference, I have to say. So let's take a look at this one first. So the Sanjia, this is an interesting design. So it's kind of like a stiletto blade, but with a lockback mechanism, which is, and also no thumb stud. It's just got this slot cut in here, which is an unusual choice. Quite often knives like this with a relatively slim pointed blade, those are usually more for self-defense or, you know, quote-unquote tactical use. But then again, of course, this is not a knife that deploys very quickly. So if I wanted to open this quickly, I can't really. I mean, I can kind of pinch it with 2 fingers and try to get it open like this, which is a bit of a struggle and not the safest thing in the world. So yeah, a bit of an odd choice here in a way. And what I noticed immediately is it's very, like the pivot is not smooth at all. There's lots of resistance, and it's got quite a grinding sound. I'm just going to bring that close to the mic so you can hear that. That does not sound good at all. In fact, I'm going to go grab some oil and see if I can improve that a little bit. Okay, let's see if a bit of WD-40 helps with that. It's definitely quite noticeable when opening and closing it. Yeah, a good amount in there. And let's see. Well, now it's a slightly more moist grinding sound. This may break in over time, but it's not really a good sign. Yeah, it still doesn't sound great. As far as the ergonomics are concerned, it's overall pretty decent. You can see it's a fairly simple handle shape, and there's not much to get wrong about that really. So you can hold it either in ice pick grip or hammer grip, saber grip, whatever you like. There's some jimping right here. And yeah, it's, as I said, fairly unremarkable as far as the handling is concerned. It's pretty okay, simple. There's no guard, of course, so you have to watch your finger. The Enlan knife, on the other hand, is quite remarkably better. First off, you can see I can just, you know, push my thumb against that, flick it open that way, or just push it open slowly. And this is actually really smooth. There's no grinding sound or anything, and it opens effortlessly. So there's quite a major plus right there over the other one. And also ergonomics wise, I also prefer this one because it's it's got the G10, which I generally very like the feel of, and got a bit of a finger troil here and somewhat more ergonomic shape. The other one is just more of a, you know, slender slab essentially, and this one here just conforms the hand a little more. And the G10, yeah, I said, definitely feels nice. Also, what I really like about this one is aesthetics. You can see there's a bit of carbon fiber right here, black, which contrasts with the green G10. That looks really neat. This is, in fact, one of my favorite designs so far. There's, you know, being a budget knife, you can't expect like 100% flawless finish. You can see right here where that hole is, it's not quite as clean as it could be. The edge grind looks pretty good overall. You can see the liner lock right here. This does not have any jimping, which I don't mind. In fact, I generally tend to prefer that. As far as the edge is concerned, there's also a very noticeable difference. You know, if I do the thumbnail test here, this just slides right off. Depends a little bit on where exactly. It doesn't seem entirely consistent along the length of the edge. This, on the other hand, bites right in. So this feels substantially sharper. So let's whip out the good old phone book paper. And no, I don't know either why these are still around. Who knows? I mean, who uses yellow pages anymore nowadays? But they're still being delivered for free at apartment buildings, whatever. I don't know why. Okay, this is actually, the phone book paper test, oddly enough, is a lot better than I would have guessed based on the thumbnail test. Let's see, what about... okay. Okay, I may have to take that back. It's actually not that bad at all. This one here, yeah, no problem. So they both perform. This direction as well. Okay, when I take a close look, both tear the paper just a little bit. So, I mean, of course, with a $10 knife, you can't expect like super high, you know, mirror polish. Let's see if they will shave. Yes, the Enlan does shave hair. I don't know how well you can see that. The other one, the Sanjia, it does as well. So they're both shaving sharp. Okay, never mind then. So this is why it's good to do several different sharpness tests, because sometimes it can be a little misleading. I said that the thumbnail test on this one definitely makes it feel duller for some reason. I don't know what it is. Okay, how about this foam here? Yep, nice and smooth. Enlan. Yeah, pretty much the same as maybe the Enlan cuts slightly better. Yeah, okay. So there is a little less resistance with this one. You can see where it starts to taper towards the edge at this point here. And this doesn't as much. So this is going to be, or rather this one is going to be a steeper angle than that. So there's potentially less resistance with the wider, more tapered blade, which is a general feature, of course. Okay, what about the leather? It's struggling a little bit, but no, it's still okay. What about that? Yeah, I'd say the Enlan probably wins. But to be fair, the Sanjia is performing better than I initially thought. Yeah, it's just a bit less resistance with this one. Of course, it's also worth mentioning that the Enlan has a pocket clip and the Sanjia does not. So overall, I would definitely say in terms of fit and finish and ergonomics, the Enlan wins. In cutting performance, it's got a bit of an edge, haha, over the Sanjia as well. And yeah, definitely the pivot and ease of opening, by far the Enlan. This is where it really mainly blows the Sanjia out of the water, because yeah, this is just a bit more of a hassle to operate. You can't really operate it effectively with one hand. And you know, the thing is, in some places there are restrictions on one-handed opening knives, like in the UK, for example. So this would technically be legal to carry in the UK, but I think people might get into trouble with that because of the design. This does not really look like an everyday carry tool folder. And, you know, arguably with such a blade, it really isn't. This is really more for stabbing things. And the other one is certainly more suited for everyday tasks, you know, cutting rope and opening boxes and, you know, emergency tool in case you need to cut a seat belt and stuff like that. It's certainly the more appropriate design for that. So it depends on what you're looking for. This, on the other hand, would definitely be an interesting collector's knife, but of course it's also a lot about personal preference. Some of you might very much prefer this because of the more traditional look, whereas, you know, this may be off-putting to some, as I personally very much like the green G10 with a black carbon fiber, but may not be everybody's cup of tea. So yeah, personally I do prefer that one, even though for the price both are quite good. You know, even considering the, you know, crunchy, grindy sounds in the Sanjia, you know, for a less than $10 knife, it's relatively easy to forgive. But, you know, in direct comparison, you know, seeing how smooth this one is, it is definitely worth criticizing. Either way, if you're interested in these, there will be links in the video description down below, and there may be sales as well, which I'm going to post. There are promo codes and things like that. And the Enlan M023 is really easy to recommend because of how much value you're getting for the price. You know, for around 10 bucks or less than 10 US, this is one hell of a knife, actually. Anyway, hope you found the review helpful, and thanks for watching. Have a good one, folks.